Welcome back, everybody. Cape Rugby TV, Wednesday nights, and we talk about what's happening in the world of Western Province Club Rugby. All right, so by now you would have done a lot of celebrating, and hopefully you're all safe on the road, but we still like to talk about what's happening in the world of Western Province Club Rugby. We trust you've had a festive season for those of you that are celebrating it. But of course, New Year is coming up, and so we ask that you continue to stay safe on the roads. We'll talk more about that a little bit later. As you know, it's the captain's table. We've had a couple of weeks of the captain's table. A lot of fun here, just trying to bring the boys together. We started off with Super League A and then Super League C, and tonight it's Super League B. All right, so we got on the show with us tonight three Super League B captains. Last week, of course, we had a mixture of captains and managers and players and so on. And tonight with me is Scotty Pitcher from Villages, Heini Marcus from Helderberg, and Armin Bailey from St. George's. But before I introduce you to our panel, let me just say a big thanks to Hisense, that's of course on board with Cape Rugby TV as our official technical partner. You can win yourself a Hisense mobile phone a little bit later during the course of the show. I'll tell you about that. You can see them behind me there. And Score energy drinks. All right, Score is always up for grabs on the show, and by now you will also know that Score is the official partner to the Western Province Club Rugby Sevens tournament. And then Dulux Maitland at number 30 Coburg Road. If you haven't got your paint supplies yet for the DIY season that you need to be doing over the holidays, well, now is your chance. Get down to Dulux Maitland. They've got three branches, one in Coburg Road, number 30 Coburg Road, one down at Durban Road in Bellville, and of course one in Deep River. I think it's called the House of Paints. So get down there and get all your paint specs. They're a very helpful bunch. And then of course Colour Tone on board with Cape Rugby TV, one of our very first partners for Cape Rugby TV, as we now wrap up 7 years of Cape Rugby. This is our 7th season. Next year we go into 8 years. In fact, it might even be the other way around. We might be wrapping up year 8 and going into year 9. Let me introduce you to the panel then this evening, folks. Heini Marcus, Heini from Helderberg, Heini from the Caleb boys. Heini, nice to have you on Cape Rugby TV.
Thank you very much for having me.
First time for you, hè?
Ja.
Armin Bailey, St. George's. Maar jij was al hier voor.
Ja.
Eerste keer. Maar ons is jou al baie geïnterviewd.
Ja.
Ja. Welkom.
Ja, dankie.
And Scotty Pitcher. Is it Pitcher or Pitcher?
Pitcher.
Oh, Scotty, welcome to you.
Thanks, JP.
We've had a couple of Villages boys here over the years.
I'm standing in for the legendary Bossy Clark, who's just retired.
I know. We in fact phoned him on his last game.
Yes, I was watching.
Yeah.
Quite an entertaining phone call, that.
I'm still wondering where he was.
Yeah, I think we all were.
Oh, I thought he was with you guys.
No. We were well behaved.
Yeah.
Can't control Bossy though.
But a legendary setup there. I mean, the entire Clark family and Bossy and Daniel, of course.
Bossy Senior.
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
And they've all moved on. I think we can maybe squeeze one more season out of Daniel.
Yeah.
But Bossy Clark Senior and Ashley Clark have both retired officially.
That's it now.
Yeah.
But they've put in hard yards for many years now.
Yeah, and I think they can be proud of their effort. I think they left the jersey in a better place than they found it. So that's what counts.
Yeah, and all three absolutely incredible, talented players.
Yeah. And we'll miss them both on and off the field.
Well, we will hopefully keep them in our ranks. So we will interview them from time to time and phone them for the odd phone call here and there. In fact, Bossy Clark Senior has also been on the show in our legends, one of our legends, or shall I say, heroes of club rugby. That was a great interview. We had him and a couple of the old boys. Okay. You put those guys in a room, they can't stop talking. Yeah. Folks, let's take a look at some of the stats here. St. George's. Armin, for you guys, you ended number 2 on. Sorry, you won the league.
Yes.
Super League B. That's an incredible feat for you guys. Ek meen daai het seker goed gevoel, né?
Ja, vir die manne self, het was great. Ek dink ons het die manne het die harde yards ingesit en dis hierdie hoed wat jy kry op die einde van die dag.
Was daar enige, well, let's talk about the big games in a second. Then, Helderberg, Heini, vir julle het 50 op die log klaar gemaak. Afgekom van Super League A, a little bit of settling down, club rebuilding a little bit. I mean, we saw right in the beginning of the year all sorts of new branding and the clubhouse and, you know, Donny Isaacs, and you got a new president, and Grant Albertine, and you got a new coach in Gerald Nutt or Reggie Nutt. So it's been a big year of building and making things stable at Helderberg.
Yeah, I think JP, the one thing that it was the first year for me as well.
joining the club in the beginning of the year. I know the club president used to beg me, please come, please come. I told him, I always used to keep him in a line. I said, I'm coming, but then obviously I don't come. But then this year I just decided, okay, let's give it a go.
Yeah.
Got there, obviously being a follower of Reginald Nutt, being an excellent coach as well. Yeah, we had an up and down season. But I think the way we started this year, for me, was phenomenal. Like the small little things we did, painting the clubhouse, getting the guys together, socializing. I think that was a good start for us as Girls of Rugby, as we call ourselves Kela Liefde, because that's where it came from. We used to come together on a Saturday, paint the clubhouse, had a social, and then obviously just take it onto the field on a Saturday.
But it wasn't just on the field, though. I mean, on the side of the field, there was a lot of work happening behind the scenes. I know I'm reasonably close with some of the. Well, I'm close with all of the guys in the world of club rugby. But behind the scenes, there was strategy meetings, general council meetings, and meetings about sponsorship and player management. There was a lot of administrators who were not playing. They were behind the scenes, making sure that the club is on a good wicket.
Yeah, definitely. I remember the one evening when they said we're having a presentation. What are we doing here? And then everyone just got excited because I just heard new kit. And then the new attire arrived. We had all the captains of the various teams with the outfit on, and then we just came out, and then everyone was just celebrating.
Yeah.
So that for us was also very nice. As a collective in the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
So I actually enjoyed that part as well. But like you said, people working behind the scenes, the guys were really digging deep for us to really have a good season. So yeah.
Scotty, let's take a look at you guys. Villagers, you ended at number 2 on the log. You made it through back into Super League A. I mean, Villagers, the second oldest club in the country.
Yeah.
And you've been in Super League A, I think, ever since inception. A little bit up and down here in the last few years, but massive move for you guys to be back in Super League A.
Yeah, I think we as a club think we belong in Super League A. We are extremely excited to be back in Super League A. Obviously, the end of the Super League B season was incredibly tight, and there were a few nervous moments.
Yes, that was why. There were a couple of games there that you had to.
Yes, and I think we beat all the big teams, but put some pressure on ourselves. So obviously the primary goal was for promotion.
Yeah.
But I think at the end of the day, we will be a little bit disappointed with not putting more pressure on St. George's.
But when you say that you think that you deserve, or that you should be in the Super League A, was there over the last few years a sense of rugby's not just it's just not easy anymore? You've got to work a little bit harder than in the past. Everybody else is getting better. You can't take it for granted. Was there a bit of that settling into? Because there was a time there that some of the teams thought, no, this is ridiculous. We should be in a certain league. But then you got to readjust your thinking. Yeah.
Well, the reason I say that is just because we are the second oldest club in the country, and it's a club with a wealth of history and tradition. So from that point of view, we belong in the Super League A. Not that we necessarily deserve to be, but that we belong to be there. But I think you're absolutely correct. The Super League A is a different beast. And I think even since joining Villagers in 2014, when we beat a very good Solarian side to win the league, Super League B has gotten a lot more competitive in a matter of 3 years. And like you say, it went down to the wire.
And in Super League A, you can almost say, well, in fact, let's just look at Super League B with all of you guys here. This is this year, and I think last year people were saying Super League C. Super League C was the league, that was the one that everybody was saying was the closest league. It was derby. Every game was going down to 1 point, 2 points. It was very close. But this year, everybody said Super League B. There was not a single game that we could pick during any of the games every week when we were looking for games, or we were saying where do we go. Elke week was het 'n storie van that we don't know how to pick it, whether it was Villagers against Kelsriver or St. George's against Hamlets, Franschhoek. There was just every game was close. This was the closest league we've seen in years.
Yeah, most definitely, Japes. Especially when I'm talking about Kelsriver now. That was really up and down this year for us. I mean, we lost against Violets
Yeah.
You know, Violet's the team that you think, it's a run over.
That was your opening game.
Yeah.
I think it was the first game of the season. Yeah.
So it was a bit tough because, losing against a team like that, you know. So obviously after a while you think to yourself, hey, what's happening here?
Yeah.
Then you get your big guns, you get your Hens and Arts, you get your St. George's, you get your Villages. I mean, Helderberg, we won them all, but we lost against St. George's. Sorry, I mean, that was a close one. That was a close one. Leading 17-3 at halftime, losing the game by 43, 39, I think.
Yeah.
So it was quite close as well. But like you said, now it was tough. It was tough this season in Super League B.
Well, talking about Kelzer up against Violets, we were there on the day. Let's take a look at the highlights. No, it wasn't Violets against Bellville. The kit just looks a little bit... there were times daar was 'n paar keer wat ek gedink het nee, dis Bellville wat hier so speel. But what an opening game. Obviously, you were the first game of the season, which means it came straight out of summer.
Yeah.
En daar was niks water beskikbaar om my veld bietjie sagter te maak,
I think it was at level 0 already.
Yeah.
So it was quite tough.
Yeah.
Training on the field as well, you know, it messes up the field as well.
Yeah.
So we couldn't go to our B field in order to train there because it looked just as bad as the A field. So we had to really dig deep, and obviously, it was bad.
Yeah.
It was really bad. There's nothing else we could say about the field. But it got better at the end of the game because we got used to the field already. So, but yeah, it was quite bad.
Scotty, you were saying, let me just fix my chair here. Yeah, all right. There we go. No, folks, we're not worried. It's community media, all right? Don't like it. We have a lot of fun here on the show. Anyway, it's the last show of the year, so we hope that you are watching and you are enjoying. Scott, you were saying while we were watching there is like Super League B, you can't make mistakes like that. I mean, we saw a little ball bounce and then there was an intercept. I mean, running rugby, it's so fast.
Yeah. Super League, that's exactly the danger of Super League B. I think that game epitomizes the fact that anyone can beat anyone on the day, especially if you're going to play a loose type of game.
Yeah.
I mean, some of those teams, if the ball hits the deck, they're gone. They're through, and you're 7 points down when you shouldn't be.
Do you guys talk about that kind of stuff? You say?
We definitely did. I think at times it was a mindset to play almost boring rugby at times.
Yeah.
Just to 50-50 passes, structured rugby, most structured rugby as possible, just to eliminate those errors and stop those kind of teams getting those kind of opportunities against us.
I mean, this year you had Clinton van Rensburg coaching on your side. He's of course coached at False Bay, he's at Rondebosch, he coached at UCT, he played for Hamilton's, he of course originated, he's been on the show with us many times. Did he bring he must have brought a different dimension to Villages this year for you to win, or at least go into Super League A?
Yeah, I think Villages can't praise Clint enough. Obviously, we have been through a few coaches in the last few years.
Yes, you have. All good friends of ours.
Yes, and it was a crucial part in the season when our last coach left, and Clint stepped in, and I think he changed the mindset a lot. I think we focused on defence a lot, and once we shored up our defences, then you can start focusing on other things. But I think Clint was instrumental in us having a good season, and I'm looking forward to next season under him.
Armin, let's talk about you guys. You guys obviously walked away as league winners there. And Scotty, we're going to come back to you in a second. We're going to talk about some of those close games that you guys had. I remember, we've managed to film a couple of your games, but I think one of those games that jumps out for me was the Villages Hamlets game. But it was just a great day, in fact. But we're going to talk about that. Armin, you've been around for a while now. You've got so much experience in club rugby. St. George's, you went up to Super League A, it didn't work out for you. Kales River, Super League A, didn't work out for you. Take a bit of a knock, you come down, you resettle. Villages. In fact, that's one of the things that you guys all three have in common here tonight, is that you've all had a taste of Super League A. And quite frankly, I think it's quite tough for teams to just jump from Super League B to Super League A. Being the winner of the league or getting promoted isn't good enough. You've got to go up with extra money. You've got to go up with maybe extra players. You've got to go up with... So it's tough. It's very tough. But I mean, you guys have now been up and you've come down and you've now won it. These little things that Scotty and I were talking about, the little mistakes. You can't make mistakes.
Nee, JP. Veral in Super League B is ek sê altyd jy wil liewer die bal in die hand hê as wat jy moet defend.
Ja.
Want die pace wat die manne speel kan miskien dalk 2 keer vinniger wees as wat jy in die Super A speel. Van die Super A rugby speel jy baie gestructured rugby en die Super B is 'n game waar jy hardloop fiks moet wees as jy in Super B league is. Ek het dit vir die jaar het ek dit geproe waar ek van Super A af na Super B toe gekom het en dit kos net ekstra harder werk.
Ja.
Vir Super B om hardloop fiks te wees. En waar jy in Super A meer fisies fik sal wees as ek moet sê.
Wat van die what about the mentality? Wat van die gesindheid van die spelers? Ek meen you guys, you all know it. You must have that feeling of it's so hard when you've been relegated. False Bay also went through this. Every league has a couple of players that goes through this. But I mean, look at False Bay. They went down. They were in Super League B not so long ago, and now they've won the Gold Cup. They didn't win the league, but I mean they've had an incredible season. So what do you do at the end of the year when you've got all these players and they're negative? We saw in Super League A, we saw some teams this year not even finishing the games because it was so bad. We saw some teams taking 150 plus points. How do you keep the players motivated?
JP, as ek moet vat St. George's self, ons het hierdie jaar ons het die grootste pak gehad, ons het die grootste backline gehad, maar ek dink...
Maar jy het vir Manny Williams gehad. Manny Williams, hy tel vir ten minste 3 ouens.
Ja, maar dan moet ek sê dat ons het slim spelers gehad.
Ja.
So, soms dink ek jy hoef nie die grootste ou te wees, maar jy eintlik die slimste ouetjie te wees. En ek dink dit het vir ons, ek moet sê van die coaches se kant af, ons coaches is ook nie baie groot maar hulle baie slim gewerk met ons hierdie jaar. So ek dink dit het baie getel vir ons. En dan moet ek sê ons het hard gediek vir wat ons wil gee hierdie jaar.
Aan julle kant het julle baie ondervinde ouens daar, so ek het nou by die Sevens met Earl Johnson gepraat. Ek dink dit lyk my hy sê hy wil nou 'n bietjie meer, hy wil 'n bietjie rus. Maar jy het 'n Charlton van Jarsveld, jy het 'n paar ouens daarso by die klub en op die veld wat nogal baie ondervinding het.
Ja, definitief, JP. In the beginning of the year, he used to be in the injured squad. Me coming from a shoulder, him coming from a knee.
Yeah.
So it was quite tough in the beginning of the year. But as soon as the guys got the form, the guys stood out for us as well.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say about Mr. Johnson. That guy, he says he's stopping, but then a week after, then he's like, guys, so yeah, that guy is just phenomenal as well.
Okay, we've got a couple of games we're still going to take a look at. St. George's against Helderberg. We were, in fact, at that game. That was a fantastic... Like I said, every one of these games was a derby match. So some of the highlights we're going to still look at. St. George's and Helderberg, Villages and Violets. Villages and St. George's. That was a big one. Villages and Hamlets. We were... In fact, of course, we were at the game. Otherwise, we wouldn't have the footage. So, yes, we'll take a look at the games in a sec. We'll take a break. We'll be with you now. Well, welcome back, everybody. We're just talking about how tough it is to make it in the leagues, in any leagues on promotion, especially in Superliga. And it's not just about the fact that Superliga is a tough league. Everybody's been getting better and better and better, and the jump from a lower league up is quite hard. And Kuilsriver, St. George's and Villages all had a taste of what it means to be relegated. And all three teams have managed to bounce back at some or other stage. And that's the fantastic thing that can be shown in the spirit of club rugby. One of the games we took a look at was Kuilsriver against Bellville. Let's see what happened here. Kuilsriver against Bellville. Of course, that wasn't a Superliga game. It was a friendly game. In fact, it was one of the first games we filmed this year. Heini, you weren't playing in that game there, but one of the things we spoke to the Kuilsriver boys about last year already was the need to sometimes play against teams in a league higher than you, just to get a taste for it.
Yeah. I think the first game, the first friendly that we played was in Albertson this year. So we played against Albertson United, quite close as well, very good team. And then we came home, and then we played, the following week we played Bellville. I was unfortunate to play, but I think the one thing that came when the guys came back to the drawing board, it was all about composure, because the guys were there but they weren't there. It's great to see the forwards scoring tries, because lately you just see backline players, they just go over the try line, but then now the forwards are coming along. They're coming along. So I think for Helderberg, it was about playing with the forwards this year, which we did a lot. One of our hookers, Ludwig, scored 3 tries in one game.
Yeah.
It was just mauls all over. But I think the composure wasn't there.
Yeah.
So that is the one thing that we lacked this year.
Well, you talk about composure. Let me tell you something. It is an old habit in the world of Western Province Club Rugby. In my opinion, in club rugby in general, unless you're one of the top 5 teams out of that 110 teams, you have limited time to practice. You have limited time to coach, so you're always going to have a loose game. We play running rugby not because we are designed for running rugby, but because it's a set of our conditions that we play. So it's always going to be loose type of game. But you're 100% right. We tend to lose composure in the last 15 minutes of the game. It's that last 15 minutes, and let me tell you, a game that absolutely epitomized that was the St. George's Helderberg game. And we're going to show you those highlights now. Folks, there you go, St. George's Helderberg. That game, we were just talking about it now. It's quite a derby. There were a couple of thousand people at that game. It was a lot of people there. In fact, we live streamed some of that game, and people were just loving it. But real Lulu liefde daar, né?
Ja, James. As ek vat die derby sal altyd hard is. Van dis ouetjies wat langs mekaar bly. Dis broers wat teen mekaar speel, en ja, ons ken mekaar nou al 'n hele tyd. So ons is vriende wat saam skool gegaan het, en laas jaar ek dink ek het die Helderberg gewen by St. George's, en hierdie jaar het dit nou 'n bietjie gedraai, maar dis tipies derby, en dis die lekkerte om by die huis te speel.
Helderberg kon daai game gewen het. Jy's 'n kaptein, jy's nou al 'n rukkie kaptein en 'n leier by St. George's. And Heine was talking now about composure, you know, making sure that the composure is right. That last 10, 15 minutes, we see clubs quite often just either kick the ball away or make a silly mistake. I yet have to see a club in the last 5 minutes, 4 minutes of a game pick and drive. I don't know if it obviously doesn't exist, but did you know in the game that, because it looked like St. George's just stayed composed that last 7 or 8 minutes and you were behind? What was going on in your mind at that time?
Oh, so jy het my al die interview weer te gevra wat het aangegaan. Ek dink ons was 'n bietjie hard op mekaar vir die eerste 20 minute. Maar ons het mekaar ook kalm gehou. En ons het ons self gesê ons moet nou 1-3 net skoor, dan gaan dinge verander. En ek dink die 3 het seker op die regte tyd gekom. En jy kan sien net na daai 3 toe verander die hele wedstryd. En toe begin die manne, soos ek nou kan sê, confidence kry. En dis wat jy soms soek in 'n derby wedstryd is, van as jy in 20 minute nog nie punte opgetel het, dan begin jy te paniek. En ek dink ons het begin paniek. Ons het net gesê ons wil nou net 1-3 skoor, dan sal dinge verander.
Scotty, do you guys do that? I mean, do you guys talk about the stuff during them? Let's look at some of the stats here quickly, for those of you guys that don't know it. Scotty, I don't know whether you scored 408 points this season. You had a 79% win rate. You had 291 points scored against you, with 117 points difference. And of course you came second on the log. Your average points, this is interesting because between the 3 of you, your average points per game was 29 points per game. St. George's average point was 31 points per game. Ironically, Cale's in it lower on the log than you, and scored more points than you, scoring 30 points per game. But do you guys have these kind of conversations during the week about maintaining composure?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that was a big part of our season. I think if I just think offhand, I think we beat Bellville in the last seconds of the game. We beat Rangers in the last seconds of the game. We beat Hamlets in the last seconds of the game. And I mean, those are all crucial fixtures.
You played Hamlets twice, right?
Pardon?
Played Hamlets twice, I think.
We played them in President's Cup, yes.
President's Cup,
we
and
lost
you played
them in the
away.
President's Cup, We played them away in the league in a must-win game. I think we won either 21-20 or 2019. Or
let's take a look at that game. We've got that game on tape. Villages and Hamlets. That was a good game, man. I really enjoyed it. A lot of people out there. Hamlets also had a fantastic season, folks. If you ever want to see a team travel and put it together 10, 11 buses of fans. Hey, have you guys seen what they come up with?
I think that's why when they rocked up with all their buses for the President's Cup, I think we were a bit shell-shocked. I mean, when you go there, you expect it, but you don't expect it on your on doorstep.
Absolutely. I think last year at Newlands, there were more. I'm not going to say there was more. There was a lot of fans. A lot of fans. Let's take a look at that game, Villages and Hamlets. right, we're just talking here a little bit about hamlets. We're not even talking about villages. All four of us here talking about hamlets. But let's carry on with that conversation then, just for a little bit. Scotty, you mentioned the Hamlets fans.
Yeah.
I mentioned the Hamlets kids.
Okay.
But I just thought that the kids out there had like a fresh innocence about them, and yeah, you mentioned the fans from Hamlets.
Yeah, I think Mumray is an intimidating place to go play rugby. You know it's going to be intimidating, and you know that their crowd gets their team up.
Yeah.
And as I said, it was a must-win game for us. So the pressure was on in a big way, and I think we got through with 1 point.
You mentioned the President's Cup.
Yeah, that was. So once I think we'd relaxed once we got a promotion.
Yeah.
And I think, I mean, you never go into a game thinking you're going to lose it, but I do think they wanted it more.
Did you expect that many Hamlets fans?
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
Yeah. You were, Miney, you were saying close games for you guys against Hamlets. Yeah.
Both games was close. I think the one was 46-43.
Yeah.
And then in the President's Cup, our first game, we lost against them as well, 21-19.
Yeah.
Or it was 29-21, something like that. But it was quite close as well. And like I said earlier, the heat. It feels rugby is a winter sport, but it seems to be summer whenever you go there.
But the weather is
it's just so hot there.
Did that affect you guys at all, I mean?
Ja, ons het Hamlets gespeel by ons. En ons het ook maar wat ek dink is 19-17 verloor teen hulle, maar hulle het baie goed teruggekom.
Ja.
Hulle het baie goed teruggekom in die game en daai ouetjies dit lyk of hulle 'n never say die moment het by hulle. Daai ouetjies is net so.
Also, very difficult. Very difficult for Hamlets. I think all the travelling. Franschhoek is the same. There's a couple of clubs that have to do a lot of travelling to be able to play, and a lot of clubs still struggling with sponsorship. So it's admirable. Harold Moses and his team out there, and of course Gavin Passons and the guys just doing great work, and makes lekker snoek. Fantastic standing in the garage afterwards and having a little bit of snook. So, folks, we're going to take an ad break. When we come back from the break, I think we will take a look at Villages up against Violets. Welcome back, everybody. Cape Rugby TV. Remember, you can win yourself a case of Score energy drinks. All you need to do is grab your mobile phone. You can grab your Hisense if you've managed to win the Hisense phone. You can grab that and SMS us the word SCORE to 33090, 33090, and you put yourself in the mix to win a case of Score energy drinks. All right, so all you need to do 33090, and you'll be in the mix to win that Score. Of course, we'll know then, of course, that Score Energy Drinks is, of course, on board with Western Province Rugby as the partner to the Western Province Club Rugby Sevens. We'll take a look at some of the Sevens a little bit later in the show, so don't go away. We'll also give you a chance to win yourself the Hisense Infinity Pulse, or at least the Pure Shot. It's the Infinity Pure Shot up for grabs. You'll have a chance to spot the ball a little bit later. But right now, you can win yourself a case of Score Energy Drinks. They're on board with the Sevens. Fantastic. I love having this drink just before I go to gym. It's got 32 milligrams of caffeine in it and guarana. Take a shot of this, off to gym, and you have a lekker workout. Can't stop working out, in fact. For me, it works just well. Like an hour and a half, it's all I need, and then boom, done. I've got and you're concentrating. You can't stop concentrating. I should have had this when I was at school. I would have maybe done a little bit better. I would have not been a Cape Rugby presenter. I'd probably be something else. One of the games that was, of course, tight this year was Violets and Villages. Yeah. And you guys had to really make sure that you didn't drop the ball there.
Yeah, well, after we put pressure on ourselves this season, because like I say, we beat all the big sides, and then we lost two of the easier or supposedly easier games, but that's Super BB. And then our second to last game, we lost against Kales River, which meant that we had to beat Violets to get promoted. Yeah, and they were playing because Bellville managed to beat St. George's on the last day.
See, that's what we were saying. So Super Big B.
So they were playing to finish third last and not get relegated. So there was a lot on the line for both teams.
There was a lot on the line in that week leading up to that game. Yeah. Everybody was talking about it, and it went right down to the wire. Let's take a look at those highlights. It was Villages against Violets at Chaka Road. So it was a away game for Villages. once we've got the captain's table here, of course, Cape Rugby TV captain's table. That's our last show of the year. 52 shows this year. Can you believe it? One every week. We didn't miss a single week at Cape Rugby TV. Now, I'm not sure if we're now finishing 7 years or if it's 8 years. Lost a little bit of track, but it's been an incredible time so far. And we've completely revitalized the way that club rugby operates in Western Province, and certainly have set the tone for what can happen in community sport in South Africa. No one else has done it. We are the first. I don't think I've ever said that in that tone, but tonight I'm going to say it, and I have said it. We of course hope that all the other community sports out there start maybe doing the same thing and learning from what can happen. A few years ago, clubs never saw each other, never met each other, and they were certainly not on the map. Today, our club rugby players are famous. They're on TV every week. With me on TV tonight is Scotty Pitcher from Villages, Armin Bailey, and of course Heini Marcus from Kelsriver. Armin is of course from St. George's. He's been no stranger to Cape Rugby TV over the years. In fact, we've had some fantastic times with St. George's over the years. Gastro being one of the first fields that we went to back in the day, and I think that those big derby matches that you guys had with Solarians, daar was een van die grootes, maar St. George's was nog altijd vir ons 'n lekker plek daar by Gastro, Armin.
By ons by die huis is soos jy win vandag waai.
Ja.
As jy win vir in die strand waai met jou storie ken om te speel.
Ja.
En ek dink baie van die spanne kom strand toe en te dink dit gaan 'n lekker dag wees, maar as jy win waai dan moet jy jou storie ken in die strand self.
Scotty, let's take a look now there at that game against Violets. You mentioned the fact that you guys had dropped the ball, so to speak, proverbially, in one or two games before that, and that was a big game for you guys. You had to make sure, but it looks like you came away. Well, you certainly took the upper hand there, 42-17.
Yeah, you mentioned composure earlier, and knowing that there was so much on the line, not just for our first side, but for the club as a whole, to go up was the main aim. And I think we showed a lot of composure. At no stage were we rattled. We just went out there and did what we had to do, and in the end of the day, it was quite comfortable.
How does it feel now for Villages? And what are the boys saying? I mean, the conversation, the spirit, something must be different. I mean, you were up there before, now you've dropped down. I mean, there must be a sense of, okay, well, we're back, but guys, still be careful.
There's a completely different feel around the club from the last time we went up. I think the euphoria of beating that Solarian side with all those great players in it, with a side that potentially shouldn't have beaten them, and then winning the league, that was our goal, and we kind of didn't even think further. Whereas this year, that was step one. A lot of things have changed behind the scenes of Villages. I think a lot of things have been put in place for next year.
Do you get the feeling that there are teams breathing down your neck?
Well, yeah, I think they always are. And I mean, like you say, everyone sitting here, all our sides have gone up and then come straight back down, which can't happen again from a Villages point of view. I think going up and down is much tougher than just staying in the Super League B. So now that we're up, now the real work starts. And as I say, from the previous time of having gone up, that's the different feeling that we do have. We all extremely excited to be in Super League A. There's a couple of new faces around the club. I think, like I say, behind the scenes things have changed. There's a lot of recruiting going on, and I mean, we've got big plans for next season. We
want to talk to you a little bit about the off-season preparation in a second, but of course, you and St. George's. Heini, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to leave you out of this highlights package. Kayla Liefde. But of course, St. George's and Villages go up, and we managed to also catch the highlights of St. George's against Villages. Let's see what happened here. tough game there, guys. I mean, you can just see why Super League B. Heine, let's speak to you as a neutral party in this game. You can see that was two giants up against each other.
Yeah, definitely. Like we just said now, behind the scenes, it was tough.
Yeah.
It was tough. Either it was you're going to go into a game thinking it's going to be easy, but it's not easy. Once you're in that 4 lines, your mentality needs to change.
Yeah.
Because, like I said earlier in the show, that you know that I'm going to win this team, but then it's just a different result. Both of these teams that we played against in the year, it was tough. It was tough. Like the game of St. George's is still in my head. I remember Armin chasing me on my way to the try line. I remember him counting my studs. Did you
have a breakaway?
It was a breakaway, yes. It was a breakaway, but I remember him chasing me. I was like, please
you were
don't
doing
catch
Colin
me.
Ours.
Yeah, please don't catch me. Please don't catch me. Because this is my time now. But the game against Villages, I didn't play, but I was on the field.
Yeah.
For me, it's about passion.
Yeah.
The game is about passion. So even if I wasn't playing, I felt it for the boys on the field. And like I said, it was just tough. I've never played Super B before. I've always been playing Super A, being at UWC. But then this year, even Super A can't compete against Super B. That's just one of the things.
I mean, on your side, that game, it didn't go your way on that day.
Villages.
Yeah.
That was, I can say it was an emotional game.
Yeah.
That was by emoties.
Why? Why do you?
Scotty can say there was all over fights, and then we just stop, and then we play again, and then we just fight, and then we just play again.
Tough game, hard game.
It was tough, but I must give credit to Villages. They, as you can see, they were defending their line hard. They were defending their line, and I think us just getting exposed by the defense was you don't know what to do, but you try something.
Scott, you seem to be like thinking of something. I'm not sure what you're thinking.
No, I was just thinking about the niggles that he's talking about. I had a run in with Manny, which is always fun. I think I got my own back there in the video. You can see there. So if he's watching, just
Manny Williams, of course, plays at St. George's, stalwart. There's a couple of names that jump out though at every club. If I look at Kelsriver, Donny Isaac, Grant Albertine, you got your guys there at the same thing at St. George's. You got Noonan Julies, Ruben Riffel, people that keep the machine going. In fact, it was the week before last we spoke to Janine. Janine brought 3,500 kids to St. George's. Villages, you guys got the same thing. Today is not just about rugby on the field. You need that whole machine behind you and the fans.
Yeah.
I don't know. Must have been critical for you guys, critical for False Bay, St. George's, Kelsriver. I mean, you need that whole machine to work.
Yeah. I think having fans there raises the game.
Yeah.
And I think it's playing. Brookside is obviously an incredible facility, and it has a bit of a stadium feel to it.
Yeah, as long as you don't run too far off the try.
Yeah. You're going to run into a wall. But I think it's almost a blessing and a curse, because some of these opposition when they rock up with their crowds, you can become intimidated at home almost, because there's this stadium feel. But yeah, if we try and play back towards the pub, back towards home in the second half, and it inspires you.
Yeah.
That bit extra.
I mean, biggest game for you guys this year? Most fans, biggest game, or the game that you were worried about the most?
Wat ek en hy nie van gepraat het, Franshoek.
Franshoek, ja.
Franshoek by hulle huis, wat ons hulle gespeel het, weg en toe kom ons terug. En soos ek sê, daar was net iets in hulle het 'n never say die moment. En hulle het, ek dink as jy kom in 'n plan na 'n veld toe en met 2-3 busse, met fans, dan ek dink dan is jou dag al klaar goed.
But Heini, do you think that there's, if you look at you guys, you've been in Super League A and you were relegated. Franshoek had their own tragedy, a completely different, very sad tragedy. But it seems like there are sometimes things that can happen in a community that brings a club together, or brings a community together.
Definitely, JP. I remember them coming to our field because we had a home game that week. They're coming to our field, as Ami now said, the buses and all that, the fans, it was crazy. And you could see, I think it was a second team game, the ref wasn't too good, according to the fans. And you could hear the remarks by the fans, and that is enough. That is enough for a team to perform. I think fans take the team way up. And if it's not for our fans, I don't think we will be playing rugby on a weekly basis, because that's the people that keeps us going. So I think we need to celebrate them as well.
I think 100%. Final show for the year. Guys, we're going to have to leave it at that. I would like to keep you here for another hour. I mean, what I love about the fact is that the three of you who play against each other probably don't get to see each other that often. Maybe we should have a captain's reunion one party or something.
Definitely,
well, it's not going to happen this year. But Manny, listen, better luck for 2018.
Thank you very much.
At Kayla, and tell the boys there, tell the Kayla boys we send our love, and you guys need to stay safe on the roads. Huh?
Definitely, thank you, James.
I mean, same to you. Tell the Ruben and Lyndon and Manny and the guys we send our love, and of course they must same thing. Good luck for 2018.
Thank you, JP.
I'm sure you guys are going to make everybody proud.
Thanks.
Yeah. And Scotty, what a pleasure having you on the show. I know you guys have got it all. You've probably got it all worked out to work out how to go and win Super League game.
Wow, we hope so.
But thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks, JP. Cool to be here.
That's a wrap, folks. That's a wrap for 2017, the World of Western Province Club Rugby here on Cape Rugby TV. Remember, you can win yourself a Hisense H7S Pure Shot mobile phone. All you need to do is go to our mobile app, go download it on iTunes or on Google Play, and go and try and spot the ball. Let's quickly take a look at the ball graphic, and you can have a quick squiz here. And you can see what it is that you need to go and look for on the Cape Rugby TV app. Your options are pretty simple: A1, A2, A3, B1, B2, B3, C1, C2, and C3. Go to the Cape Rugby TV mobile app, download it on iTunes or download it on Google Play, and go and see if you can spot the ball. And if you spot it correctly, you could be in the mix to win yourself this Hisense H7S Pure Shot mobile phone with all sorts of gadgets in it. That's a wrap from Cape Rugby TV for 2018. We'll see you again next week, same time, same place. Or should I say, we'll see you next year. Have a fantastic rugby weekend. Please stay safe out there. Bye-bye.